as somebody who obviously you're in a relationship right now, but somebody on a relationship show in Insecure, you are used to these larger conversations that these shows, bring. And you probably were a part of maybe the largest relationship conversation I've certainly been a part of on Twitter, the ever evolving, never ending fight of Team Issa and Team Lawrence.
That's right.
Dude, like y'all out there breaking up happy homes.
Yes.
Like it's fucked up, man.
I had a homeboy who called me after the finale of season 1 and was like, yo, me and I'm not gonna say it now.
You can't start it.
I can't do that because
Okay.
he listens. I know he listens.
All right.
And if she just happens to be in the car, or if she listens,
he ain't gonna be to play that off.
Yeah. So
Okay.
my boy from back home hits me and he's like, "Yo, we just watched the finale. Or we watched the finale and we haven't spoken in 48 hours." They literally got in a fight the night they watched the finale. Now, mind you, they got kids. They got 2 kids, right? They hadn't spoken to each other in the same bed, in the same house in 48 hours, other than you picking up the kid. Cool. You packed the lunch? Yeah.
Dang.
Literally for 48 hours.
Look at what y'all have done. But it was
Who
just
knew?
It was interesting why both of those characters, both together and apart, like really resonated with people. Why do you think it struck such a chord to the point where people are having vehement fights? And not just that, you apparently are liberating men everywhere.
Oh yeah, we out here. Lawrence Hive, baby.
Lawrence Hive,
Let's
out
go.
here.
Let's go.
Looking for their bank teller.
Looking, new Democratic nominee. We gonna be at the convention.
People gonna be writing you in like Jay
convention.
Ellis, aka Team Lawrence. But no, why do you think these two characters, or this relationship, I should say, resonated with so many people?
I think we've probably all been in some version of this relationship before. We've all been a version of these two people before, I think, either side, right? And I think that when you are younger, you're not able to express, much like Issa and Lawrence, like they weren't able to express the stuff that was really going down between them, right? And I think when you have been there personally, and then all of a sudden you see two people who are going through that, and they're not able to say that they're in the same place you were at some point in your life. It just is one of those things you immediately connect to and you draw to, right? Like, I think a lot of younger men, don't feel that they are able to communicate about their fears so freely with their significant others, right? And like that is what Lawrence was going through. And then when you see that dude going through that exact same thing, you connect with him because you go, "Oh, I know what he's afraid of and what she might say to that." You know what I mean? And it's just one of those things I think that really just taps into like your heart in some way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When you read where the storyline was going that first season, what did you think the reaction would be from the audience?
I remember Prentice, our showrunner, being like, "Yo, when people see the finale, I'm just telling you, dudes everywhere are gonna stand up and like wave flags and march in the streets." And I was like, I don't think that's it, bro. I don't see it. Like, I mean, I see it in some ways, but on the flip side, I was like, I think it's gonna be a lot of really angry women out there too. And it ended up being both, right? Like he saw something, he saw something way bigger than what I saw. Like, I think, in his mind, he was like, yo, if it hits in the way we think it's gonna hit, like this is gonna cause people to have conversation in a way that like a lot of shows don't get out of people. A lot of scripted shows don't get out of people. And so when I read it, I was just like, I don't know, man. I think people are gonna hate Lawrence, and then that mean they gonna hate me because they can't separate. So now I'm gonna be out here getting yelled at in the streets.
Which I heard has happened.
It has happened multiple. I still get it. And I'm like, yo, it's been 4 seasons. Like, calm down. They good now. Like, they friends. Like,
exactly.
Like, why y'all still yelling at me?
Coachella. It was beautiful after
why y'all
that.
still yelling? But yeah, I didn't think it was gonna be that big of a reaction. You always hope, you know what I mean? Like you kind of just give it away and try not to like put any expectation on it, and then whatever happens. So
you mentioned how people react to you when they see you in real life. I am told by my informants, because we do deep research here on Jemele Hill is Unbothered, that a lady actually slapped you.
Yeah, I got slapped at JFK.
Tell me what happened.
Open hand, like yeah, she was like it was my grandmama or something. Like it was just so. I was flying abroad. I was flying overseas. flying from JFK, I go into like, WH Smith News or whatever that is, and I'm going to get, I'm about to be on a boat. And so I'm going to get Dramamine. And so at the little turnstile, there's a woman who's on the backside of it, and I'm about to turn it around, and I don't want to just hit her with the thing when some item spins and she think I'm brushing up on her or something. So I'm like, hey, ma'am, excuse me, I'm about to turn the thing. Do you mind? And she literally turned around, eyes wide. She was like, bop! And just, she hauled up. She reached back to literally...
Like from the ancestors that came down.
And brought it all the way around. And she slapped me, and she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm just so pissed at you, Lawrence. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, for real? And she was like, I'm so sorry. And she was like, and you would think I know better because I'm a writer. And I was like, I'm sorry, say what? And she was like, yeah, I write for, she wrote for a blog. And she was like, you think I could do an interview with you at some point? And I was like, you know what? Why don't you hit me when I get back in the country? And
Which is called February.
We'll figure it out.
Right.
I never heard from her. I actually would have did the interview just to call her out for slapping me.
And be like, you gonna slap somebody you don't know.
But that was the craziest experience. I mean, I have been pulled and grabbed and yelled at, whatever. Like getting like that slap hurt. Like it for real hurt. Like I ain't been hit like that in a long time.
You really doing your job. I see. Well, is it I guess the upside is that people are that invested. The downside is that people are that invested. But as somebody who plans to be in this profession for a long time, do you have concerns that you will not get out of the bubble of Lawrence?
No, because I think people forget there was a bubble of blue. Like people forget my first show had its own bubble.
On the game,
yeah. And so it's funny, like I remember like I couldn't go anywhere without people yelling blue. Like for the longest time. And then that transitioned to Lawrence. And some people, now I'm out, like if I'm out in certain places, some people be like, you still always gonna be blue to me, Lawrence. And I'm like,
okay. Well, at least they
do you know my real name? No, like, but so I never worry about that. And for me, I also think it's one of those things that like, it is one of the best scenarios ever, and like I think such a massive honor to have people remember your character in that way. Like having the opportunity to have played a character that people resonate with or are angry with, whatever it is. But the fact that it moved them in some way, like you don't get to do that with every job. You know what I mean? So I don't think it'll last because it didn't last with my last job, but I am also grateful if it does in some ways. You know what I mean?
Well, they brought, because now they're bringing sort of Lawrence and Issa kind of full circle. At least I read this, and you can certainly clear this up, is that they had written Lawrence out. Is that correct? Or like Lawrence wasn't supposed to come back?
Yeah, I don't know if Issa would ever tell me that, because I'd be like, oh, so you're just going to fire me? That's what you was going to do? But no, I think that, I think that as best as I can speak for the writers, I think when they originally started and what Issa's vision for the show was a very specific story. And I think she's still moving towards what that specific story is. But I think that there are things that happen when you're in a writer's room that, 10 people start to find interesting, and you're like, oh, let's keep exploring that, and let's explore that some more. And what does that look like for a full season or for 2 seasons or for 3 episodes? And let's continue to explore that. And so I think that is one of the things that ultimately ended up happening with Issa and Lawrence. I think the split between them is something that I am sure they knew they wanted to do. But where they are now is like bumping into each other at Coachella and, at the end of season 3, and then him chilling with her at the movies at the end of season 3, directed by Regina King. Shout out Regina. I don't know if that was something that was thought of back in season 1.
Yeah. Do you think they were influenced by the reaction and the fact that there were a lot of, people, it wasn't just men, but it was a lot of men certainly who related to this character so strongly that maybe they thought perhaps we're making a mistake by kind of fading Lawrence out.
To all the men out there, I'm grateful for y'all. I still got a job for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because of you, I am here. No, I think I don't think our writers' room, I think they try to not be influenced by the zeitgeist. I think they try to lock it away because I think, I hear Issa and Prentice talk about this a lot. then we even think about it. What made season 1 so special is the fact that like we were in a bubble. Nobody knew Insecure. Nobody knew Issa and Lawrence. And because we were in a bubble, they were able to go away and create this story that ultimately resonated with so many people. And so I think that is the same magic that they constantly try to create, is going back in, not listening to what the world is saying, just doing whatever serves the story and these characters the best, you know? And sometimes that leads to stuff that pops off and gets people pissed off and creates memes and breaks the internet. And sometimes, you know, it makes people smile, laugh, and cry.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I think that I actually read this actually happened. Like after the end of season 1, you had a whole bunch of dudes out there showing solidarity by buying Best Buy shirts.
Yeah,
like right.
Yeah.
Like Best Buy should have started marketing and selling their shirts. Like it's.
I would have been a Best Buy spokesman. They could call me right now.
You're right.
Good brothers come out of Best
See
Buy.
What I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
See, they missed the opportunity
there.
Well,
we can circle back and get it though.
Because that money's
we
gonna
can
be
circle
there.
back and get it. Yeah, we can
Absolutely.
always circle back and get it.
So with this, new season and with the way the show has matured, from what you know and from what you can tell us, what are you most looking forward to, seeing how people react to this season?
I guess it's an interesting season because I think Issa, Lawrence, and Molly have all. I don't think they've gone through the toughest thing we've seen them go through yet, but I do think they've all gone through something that has made them adults, right, in a different way, and now having this conversation of like, what can you really have in life? Like, can you have the perfect career and the perfect spouse or the perfect, partner? Or can you only have one or the other? And is that real? Or is that just some dream that somebody told us 60, 70, 80 years ago when America was created? And like, that's just what we've bought into. And I think we get to see them all explore that and really trying to find that balance in their life. And does that mean that, are they dropping one thing to do the other thing, or are they fighting to keep both things as good as possible? And to me, that's like a really interesting thing, because I think we all hit that at some point where you're like, yo, I got this thing popping, but like I can't find nobody to fall in love with, or like, yo, I got the girl or the dude, but like
I'm broke.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so I think that is such a, and I think it's an interesting thing because like for dudes, like for the longest time, I would always say like, I am not ready. Like I'll date, but like I wouldn't start a life until I felt like I was in a certain place. And I feel like that is so much more of the mentality of men, I think, in a lot of ways. But I think Lawrence, even more specifically in this story, has now kind of found his way a little bit in one space. And like now, what does that mean in the other place, in the other part of his life?
Well, I think that's probably why women have reacted so strongly to that character, because Lawrence certainly reminded me of an ex. I was like, coming home, he on the couch. Yup, I've dated that dude, right? Because women have heard that. Like I've had friends who've gone through that frustration of having a guy who's good in so many areas, right, but he ain't got his shit together. Or a guy that you might want to build with, but he's like, nah, I don't want to build because I ain't got my shit together.
Barnett.
You know what? There it is. It all comes full circle.
Sorry, Barnett. I didn't mean to call you out like that, bro. If you see me in the streets, don't try to fight me.
Like he found the girl, but she definitely ain't got her shit together. Except for it's much easier, obviously, for women in that situation. We could like totally not have our shit together. Like a guy that's successful, he'll pick a chick up that's working the fry machine. That shit don't work in reverse. It don't work the same for us. Like we be like, y'all, because how y'all like, baby, flip them fries, put that extra salt on it. If you come to us in a uniform with your name on the shirt, it's gonna be an issue.
See, that's the problem. That's why Lawrence has resonated, because Lawrence was that dude.
He was
that dude.
But in a way, to me, what was always the downfall was the lack of attentiveness at the important moments. But again, I found reasons to hate both characters, so it was great. So I was like, Lawrence, I mean, I didn't blame Lawrence for the Best Buy thing. I know a lot of women everywhere. Sorry, ladies, I'm selling y'all out, but
I think it's a lot of women who actually feel that way also, but will never
admit it. The bank teller was like a given. That was a given. It's like, come on. What do you expect, ladies? What do you expect? So there was that part of it, but I was more or less criticizing him for the way that he was not, even while going through his own shit, he could not be there for her. And then the mature response is never like, we can't communicate, so I'm just gonna fuck somebody else. Like that's not right. So again, is what I thought was the beauty of that interaction is that there was fault on both sides.
Yeah.
Like the reasonable people, and not the people who slap you in airports, should understand this part of it.